Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Comic Book Cove. I'm Tom Morris.
And I'm Josh Holderbaum.
And of course, as always, Lady Margot Elise. Episode number 31, Familiar Location, Same Enemies, New Problems. Josh, we are still visiting same locales in the DC universe with a few same enemies, but they're trying some stuff different this time.
Yeah, and in some cases kind of some new takes on a few enemies and new, even some new appearances by enemies that we've seen before in different futures.
Yes.
Too, like Batman Beyond. That's different.
Mm-hmm. The Rogues wanting to do something in Flash 17. Not quite a happy ending for Barbara Minerva in Wonder Woman. Mm-hmm. A Lord Havoc and the Extremists in Justice League of America. Oh boy. Mm-hmm. And a few other surprises here and there. Mm-hmm. Well, in this episode of Comic Book Cove, we're going to discuss the following titles. Flash number 17. Wonder Woman number 17. Justice League of America number 1. Action Comics number 974. Detective Comics number 951. Batman Beyond number 5. And Teen Titans number 5. And as always, spoilers ahead. Flash number 17, Rogues Reloaded Part 4. It comes down to the Flash and Captain Cold. Once again, this time, Captain Cold kind of wants to just kind of get it over with. He really wants to, this is it. They're on a boat, the Rogues are going to escape, they want to start a new life, but in order to do that, they're going to have to get by the Flash.
Yeah, and it kind of seemed like Captain Cold is the only one who really wanted to run into the Flash.
Yes.
He seemed kind of like it was a hollow victory as they were trying to get away. And then when the Flash showed up, he's almost happy that the Flash shows up, because now he gets a chance to use his new weapon, the Black Ice Gun, mm-hmm. which is an upgraded, Captain Cold freeze gun using technology from the Black Hole, who we saw previously in Flash issues.
Yes. Now, Captain Cold brings up some parallels between him and the Flash. They both love to do what they love to do, and there's also some, I guess, inner commentary by the Flash about having the dad, the intellect. And are they kind of two sides of the coin?
It kind of seems like it. They're two very separate individuals who kind of started out from what seems like almost the same mold. Barry's dad ended up going to prison, wrongly convicted for his mom's death. Captain Cold's dad was abusive, and Barry seems to imply that Captain Cold's kind of trying to act out in spite of his dad. I mean, at one point, Barry even says, look, I mean, you could put your mind to use at Star Labs, and Cold says, what? I'd want a lab job sitting in a
desk,
sitting in a chair, which
job.
Is sort of exactly what Barry does, mm-hmm. which is just kind of a funny parallel. But I mean, that's what seems to make Captain Cold sort of the number one villain for the Flash.
Yes.
I mean, the other rogues are cool, but Captain Cold's kind of the one who has sort of the biggest oomph, especially for Barry Allen. Not so much for Wally West later on.
When the Rogues finally gang up on Flash, they don't want to kill him because they've always had a rule of we don't kill. That's what separates the Rogues. Golden Glider, on the other hand, which is Captain Cold's sister, she wants to end it. She's tired of this back and forth, so she takes matters into her own hands.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see the rest of the Rogues really don't want to see that happen. Mm-hmm. For being criminals, all of them don't want to see that happen. Captain Cold especially doesn't want it. He's the one who actively tries to talk her out of it. It's amazing that you can go from a fight, where Captain Cold is literally freezing the Speed Force within the Flash,
yes.
to saying, "Hey, don't kill him. Let's mm-hmm. not do that." It makes you wonder: is that going to be kind of a breaking point for some of the Rogues?
Right.
Because last issue we saw Captain Cold almost get into a fist fight with Heatwave, mm-hmm. when Heatwave claims he killed the Flash. When Flash tracks him down at his house that burned down. And that was enough just to set off Captain Cold to say, yes. No, I'm the one who fights the Flash. So it'll be interesting to see if the Rogues can stay together after that point.
Well, you're very right. because the Flash earlier had taken Captain Cold's new black ice gun and dismantled it a little bit, he short-circuited out. So when Golden Glider pulled the trigger, she was ready to kill him. It was no doubt about it. She pulled that trigger, but the gun blew up and knocked everyone else out. And he just kind of wondered, wow, she was ready to kill me. Like you said, will that be the end of the Rogues?
Yeah.
And that's how the Flash takes him. Well, he doesn't take them down. They took themselves out.
Yeah.
But now we go to Iron Heights, and we see that what Flash had said earlier to Captain Cold has run us on it. He's not going to be any rogue criminal. He's now proclaimed himself the king boss of, the crime boss of Central City. All right. Way to be goals now in terms of he could be so much more, so he aspired to be more than the leader of the Rogues. He's the leader of all criminal activity in Central City.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's interesting, too, when you look at all the other prisoners behind him. It's a lot of other later Flash villains. I saw Girder and Murmur, because those are two that I knew from the 90s. Like, oh, yeah, I know them. But it looked like he still had, Heatwave was still there, and Trickster was still there. So it makes me wonder, is this going to be an expanded version of the Rogues, or maybe a whole new team? Because when he fights Flash, too, he says, you know, no, I like being a rogue. I really like being a rogue. Yeah. And Flash says, yeah, are you trying to tell me that, or are you trying to convince yourself of that? So it's almost like, does he not? Maybe this will be something new other than the Rogues.
Yep.
I'll also say it's nice that the Iron Heights lets him keep his goggles when he's in there. Which, it occurred to me, that's kind of the only way we'll know that's him.
Yep.
I mean, without his parka, he's just a dude.
That's what he's got to have, his goggles.
Yeah.
At the very end of this issue, as Flash is cleaning up the mess that the Rogues left behind, we see that Kid Flash, Wally West, is going through Iron Heights' computer and looking for his father, the Reverse Flash. Was it father or uncle?
Father.
Father, yes. He's looking for the Reverse Flash. We see that he's been moved to Belle Reve Prison. We know where that's at. That is home of the Suicide Squad, or Task Force X-1-11-10. Do we think maybe he might be part of the Suicide Squad here coming up shortly, or Task Force 11?
Yeah, because Amanda Waller just got Max Lord to be part of, what she's calling Task Force 11. So, that... Again, not a good idea for Amanda Waller to be taking someone like Reverse Flash, but I guess if she can either control him or shift the blame onto someone else when he inevitably does something really bad. And it'll be interesting to see what sort of reaction Kid Flash and probably Flash get when they show up at Belle Reve to go knock on the door and say, hey, you have my dad here.
Yeah, hey, can I have my dad back, please? Don't think it's going to work.
Yeah.
The Flash number 17 I thought was a good story, and I liked how they wrapped up the Rogues Reloaded rebirth/storyline. We're going to see more in the future. I'm sure the Rogues still going to be in Central City. They might be in a different place, be in Iron Heights Prison, and they're going to try something different, mainly making sure the criminal underworld is run through Captain Cold and the goggles. Wonder Woman number 17, The Truth, Part 2. Wonder Woman continues to go present, past, present, past. This story arc, The Truth, is in the present. Josh, you are the Wonder Woman expert. We know this. What's going on at the very beginning at Themyscira and that tree?
Well, with most of this, I'm just as befuddled as you are with this issue. In the beginning, we have the Amazons are essentially keeping check on the tree that's growing in Themyscira. I'm assuming the tree is probably not a good thing to have in Themyscira. I mean, given that they're circling it, they're seemingly waiting for an army to come out of it or something.
Right.
Castalia, who's sort of the mystic/seer of the Amazon, she asks Hippolyta what she sees in the tree. And Hippolyta thinks, well, because it's here, because it's so large, this means Diana died during her mission back to Man's World. And Castalia says, well, maybe, but then she goes over, grabs Io's axe, slams it against the tree, and the axe explodes into a million pieces. And that would seem to imply that Diana's alive. That begs the question, if the fact that they can't destroy the tree is a good thing, what does the tree represent?
Exactly.
The one connection I thought of is quite a few issues ago, when we were getting sort of the year 1 story arc, we saw Wonder Woman was fighting the Seer group, which was a group that was, essentially organized by Ares, and they had a tree as their symbol. I mean, it would stand to reason that would be Ares trying to get into Themyscira, trying to metaphorically take root in Themyscira, but I mean, when she smashes the axe against and says, "Oh, look, that's good."
Yeah.
I sort of just lost it at that point. Like, okay, whatever.
Right.
Maybe that's how Diana's going to get back to Themyscira.
Through the tree?
Maybe she's just going to pop out of the tree. I don't know.
Like the tree is a gateway, but she has to find the portal.
Maybe. I mean, she has a snake living in her arm right now.
Well, let's talk about the snake. The snake has kind of been her balance, if you want to call it that, her therapist. 1 lumps or 2, drinking coffee.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the snake in this issue.
What do you enjoy the snake?
I don't know.
I did like this part. This was very interesting, this issue with the snake.
It's very, very strange in terms of what the snake represents, because it's a snake. Snakes are normally villainous in most literature. This one seems to be helping her. I mean, he's very cartoonish for a lot of this, and then there's a part where he starts doing almost like a word association thing. Wonder Woman, and doing all that. And as he does that, he gets kind of more terrifying as he goes, and then finally he's a skeleton.
Yep.
And that's when he does the wonder, or she says wonder, he says man, and then he goes back to his normal little cartoony snake form, and it just makes me wonder. Okay, what is this? Who is it? I mean, is it even a real thing?
Right.
Is this my only thought again is Ares. I mean, Ares wants to get to Themyscira too. Could he be trying to help Diana get back to Themyscira just so she can find Themyscira so that he can go to Themyscira?
Right.
I don't know. I mean, it makes my head hurt just saying Themyscira that many times in one sentence.
Someone who is real and definitely looking for Themyscira is Veronica Cale. And she, last storyline in The Truth, Barbara went and tried to talk to them. Well, unfortunately, the only way that she went and talked to him, she needs Veronica says, I need a demigod. I don't need an immortal, I don't need a god, I don't need a human, I need someone in between. And I wanted Wonder Woman to find it, but if not, I need the cheetah. I don't need Barbara. And Barbara reluctantly becomes the cheetah again, unfortunately.
Yep. To save Steve and Etta and our new friend Ferdinand, the Minotaur.
No, you said he was not the Minotaur.
Yeah, he looks like a Minotaur. He's according to the online sources I saw, he actually prefers the term Kithotar because he's from the island of Kythera, which is a real place in Greece. He's apparently from there. And he's Wonder Woman's former chef when she was the Themysciran ambassador to the UN.
All right, that's where I saw him then.
Yeah.
That's quite... the takeaway I got from that is 2 things. One, Veronica says that it'll be different this time for her to be the cheetah. I don't see how, because they drew some essence out of Urzmataga.
Yeah.
And then,
who's in his little potted plant form.
Yes, with a bunch of technology around him. And second, the avatar that they were using, what it looks like, what was the girl's name that got burned from?
Adriana.
Adriana.
Dr. Cyber.
Yep. She dressed up as a vintage cheetah.
Yeah. Makes you wonder, how are they going to keep Cheetah in control?
Right.
Because they do kind of promise her, this is going to come without the need to eat people or, the need to bow down to Urzmataga. Kind of seems like an accident waiting to happen.
Yes. They said that they needed a demigod, and obviously if Diana can't find Themyscira, is her history being altered? I guess we'll find out here in a little bit.
Yeah.
But Ferdinand they take a trip after, first they were pinned down by all this fire, and they were not going to get out of that. They were ambushed. And once Veronica Cale got what she wanted, she called off the strike. And Maru didn't like that at all. because they wanted to deal with them then and there. Well, she said, we got what we wanted, let them go, we'll deal with them later. So Ferdinand and the group, they go back to where Diana's being, I guess, held, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, the psychiatric hospital.
And they present her the lasso of truth in her uniform, and she acts like she's okay. Is this another mind trick? Is something right? Are we seeing a vision? What?
Yeah, because she said something like, "Oh, it's so lovely to see you again, dear," or something, and that's kind of similar to what she says to Steve when she first goes into her little delusional state. Is you know, she's recognizing the people around her, but she doesn't believe they're real. And I can't believe just handing her stuff is going to do it. I mean, maybe if you put like the lasso of truth around her, will that do it? I don't know. Of course, she did that originally in that, you know, in I think it was Wonder Woman Rebirth. And that's what kind of revealed that her, you know, origin was getting rewritten again. So who knows?
Yeah. Wonder Woman 17, to be honest with you, I enjoyed it. I always enjoy the Wonder Woman stories. I think I'm going to have to read this story arc altogether because a lot of stuff right now, to me, isn't making sense. I would have to go back and read the issues once they conclude the story arc and say, okay, this makes sense. Right now, as you get it by piece, my recommendation would be to let a few issues of Wonder Woman pile up with that past-present storyline and then read them all at once, and I think we'll get a better idea of Wonder Woman. And with that, we're going to take our first break, and when we come back, it's Justice League of America #1, Action Comics number 974, and Detective Comics number 951. We'll be back in just a moment.